What if I told you that the fastest growing startup in history wasn't ChatGPT? Sounds impossible, right? After all, ChatGPT exploded across the internet. It gained millions of users in record time. Schools talked about it. Businesses adopted it. Governments debated it. But while everyone was watching ChatGPT, another AI company was quietly breaking records behind the scenes. A company that reached a valuation of over $100 million at lightning speed. A company that grew so fast it shocked Silicon Valley investors. A company that many people had never even heard of. And here's the crazy part. This startup wasn't building a chatbot. It wasn't trying to replace Google. It wasn't chasing social media fame. Instead, it focused on one thing businesses desperately needed, and that decision changed everything. Today, we're uncovering the story of the startup that rose at an astonishing pace during the AI boom and became one of the most talked about companies in Silicon Valley. How did it happen? Who built it? And what can entrepreneurs learn from its unbelievable rise? Let's find out. The story begins during one of the most important technological shifts in modern history. For years, artificial intelligence existed mostly inside research laboratories and giant technology companies. Experts understood its potential, but the average person rarely thought about it. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. In late 2022, ChatGPT arrived and transformed the public's understanding of AI. Suddenly, millions of people could interact with artificial intelligence directly. Students used it to study. Businesses used it to create content. Professionals used it to save time. Social media became flooded with examples of what AI could do. It wasn't just a new product. It felt like the beginning of a new era. As the excitement spread across the world, businesses rushed to join the AI revolution. Every company wanted an AI strategy. Every startup wanted to build AI products. Every investor wanted exposure to the next big opportunity. But beneath all the headlines and excitement, there was a massive problem that most people didn't see. Building useful AI applications was far more difficult than simply accessing an AI model. Companies quickly realized that powerful language models alone weren't enough. They needed systems to organize information, connect databases, manage conversations, store memory, and integrate AI into real business workflows. In other words, they had the engine, but they still needed the rest of the vehicle. This hidden challenge created one of the biggest opportunities of the AI era. While thousands of entrepreneurs were focused on creating the next viral AI product, a smaller group of founders recognized a different opportunity. They understood that every company entering the AI space would face the same technical obstacles. Instead of competing directly with AI giants, they decided to build tools that would help everyone else succeed. It was a simple idea, but throughout history, simple ideas have often created extraordinary businesses. Think about the California gold rush. Most people remember the prospectors searching for gold, but many of the largest fortunes were made by people selling picks, shovels, and supplies. The same pattern has repeated throughout history. During the rise of the internet, some of the biggest winners weren't the websites people visited every day. They were the companies providing the infrastructure that made those websites possible. During the rise of cloud computing, massive fortunes were created by businesses building tools and services behind the scenes. The AI revolution would prove to be no different. The startup at the center of this story understood something that many others missed. The future wasn't simply about creating smarter AI models. The future was about making those models useful. Businesses didn't just want artificial intelligence, they wanted solutions. They wanted ways to connect AI to customer service, research, marketing, sales, and countless other functions. The startup focused relentlessly on solving these problems. It wasn't the most glamorous mission. It didn't generate flashy headlines, but it addressed a real need, and real needs often create the strongest businesses. Timing played a critical role in the company's explosive growth. In business, even great ideas can fail if they arrive too early or too late. This startup arrived at exactly the right moment. Demand for AI was exploding worldwide. Developers were searching for tools that could help them build faster. Companies were under pressure to launch AI initiatives. Investors were pouring billions into the industry. Every major trend was moving in the same direction. The startup didn't need to convince the world that AI mattered because the world had already reached that conclusion. Instead, it simply needed to provide a solution to a growing problem. As more developers discovered the platform, adoption accelerated rapidly. What started as a useful tool quickly became part of a growing ecosystem. Developers shared tutorials online. Communities discussed best practices. Startups recommended it to one another. Every successful project created new awareness. Every new user attracted more users. Growth began feeding itself. This is one of the most powerful forces in business. When a product becomes genuinely useful, word-of-mouth marketing can become stronger than any advertising campaign. The startup was no longer pushing growth forward. Growth was pulling the company forward. Soon, investors began paying close attention. Venture capital firms constantly search for signals that indicate a company may become something much larger. User growth, adoption rates, developer engagement, and market demand all matter. This startup was delivering strong signals across every category. Investors recognized that it wasn't merely building another software product. It was becoming part of the infrastructure, supporting an entire technological revolution. That distinction changed everything. Infrastructure businesses often possess advantages that consumer products do not. As an industry expands, demand for infrastructure can grow alongside it. Investors understood the potential and moved quickly. Funding rounds followed. Valuations climbed. Industry attention increased. What had started as a relatively unknown startup suddenly became one of the most discussed companies in the AI ecosystem. Yet despite its success, many members of the public remained unaware of its existence. This might seem surprising, but it happens more often than people realize. Consumers usually focus on products they interact with directly. They know the websites they visit and the applications they use. They rarely think about the systems operating behind the scenes. Some of the most valuable companies in history have built their success away from the spotlight. This reality reveals one of the most important lessons from the story. Success is not always found where attention is concentrated. Many entrepreneurs chase trends because trends generate excitement, but excitement alone rarely creates lasting businesses. The strongest opportunities often emerge from solving difficult problems. While countless startups competed for attention, this company focused on delivering value. While others fought for headlines, it built tools. While others chased short-term visibility, it concentrated on long-term usefulness. That difference proved incredibly powerful. The story also highlights a broader truth about technological revolutions. Whenever a transformative technology emerges, an entire ecosystem forms around it. The products people see represent only a small portion of the opportunity. Beneath the surface lies a vast network of supporting businesses, infrastructure providers, service companies, and development tools. These organizations may not receive the same public recognition, but they often play an equally important role in shaping the future. The AI revolution is creating similar opportunities today, and many of the biggest winners may still be relatively unknown. As artificial intelligence continues evolving, new challenges and opportunities will emerge. Some companies will focus on creating products for consumers. Others will focus on enabling those products to exist. Both approaches matter, but history suggests that enabling technologies can become extraordinarily valuable because they serve entire industries rather than individual markets. The next billion-dollar company may already exist today. It may not be trending on social media. It may not be making headlines every week. It may not even be known to the general public. But somewhere, behind the scenes, another group of founders could be building the tools that power tomorrow's world, just like this startup did. The question is, will we recognize its importance before everyone else does?